एक मिनट रुक जाओ, रेडी होने दो. चलो ये कर लेते हैं. This could be a great intro.
Hi, I'm Akshay.
Hi, this is Saurabh, and you are listening to the Founder Thesis podcast. We meet some of the most celebrated startup founders in the country.
And we want to learn how to build a unicorn.
Hey Akshay, this is Vinay Bagri, CEO at Niyo Solutions.
India has seen three waves of banking. The first wave was led by nationalized banks like the SBI, the second by private sector banks like ICICI and HDFC. And now we are at the crest of the third wave, which is led by neobanks. And the leader among the neobanks is none other than the aptly named fintech startup, Niyo. Niyo is among the fastest growing neobanks in India, having recently crossed the milestone of 500,000 customers. And in this episode, Akshay Dutt talks to Vinay Bagri, the founder of Niyo, who is also a veteran banker. Listen on to understand how and why neobanks are the future of banking. Here's Vinay talking about his wonderful journey.
So Vinay, tell me about Vinay as a child. What kind of environment did you grow up in? What were your parents doing? Which city did you grow up in?
So I grew up in various cities. My dad is a doctor and he was in government service when I was born. He was getting transferred practically every few years in India, and then he went on deputation abroad. So if I look at my childhood, I've been to maybe 10, 15 schools across India and abroad. So a major part, one of my favorite countries is Libya. If I will look at my childhood, maybe half of my childhood was spent in Libya when my dad was in deputation there. But otherwise, it was all over Rajasthan because, Bundi, Kota, Jaipur, Bikaner. So I've studied in schools all across Rajasthan. And then, for some reason, I also studied in Chennai for a year. But what I remember the most is, of course, the very, when I was really young, it was in Rajasthan. And then when I was between 6th and 10th standard, then it was, of course, Libya. So very fond memories.
Okay. So did you choose science or commerce in your plus two?
No, I chose maths. I always wanted science. My dad is a doctor, and that's the reason I didn't want to be a doctor. I'd seen his lifestyle, extremely busy and hardly any time for anything except his work. And I thought maybe let me do something different. So I wanted to do engineering. So then my 12th, as usual, Kota factory. I went to Kota, but always science.
Okay. And that must have been the first time staying away from parents in Kota.
It was actually first time was Madras. So 11th I did in Triveni Academy, Madras.
Which is again for IIT preparation.
Actually, nobody knows. Even my dad doesn't know why he put me in Madras. So it's lost in history. But I know that 1 year I was staying in Madras eating rice. I don't like rice at all. And then finally, when my dad came to see me after 1 year, he was in Libya at that time. So he came to see me. He saw what the hell happened to you. He lost some 15, 20 kgs. So then he shifted me to Kota, where again I lived alone. So Kota was all fun. So I moved to Kota with an idea of preparing for IIT. But that's the last thing I did. I was always having fun with friends.
Okay. So did you crack in the competitive exam?
No way, nuts. The way the competition was there, I was not, because having been in Libya all the time, it was a very cushy childhood. So you really don't see the kind of dedication needed to crack an entrance exam in India. So when I saw it in Kota, it just blew me away. I just couldn't handle it. So I didn't clear IIT. I did my BSc from Rajasthan Maharaja College. Then I cracked IIMS, the written exam. Went for all the interviews, flunked all the interviews, and a chuck it process.
Why is that? Why did you flunk the interview?
I have no clue because I have given 12 IIM interviews.
Wow.
So I cleared written exam in 95, 96, 97. And somehow I don't know. Maybe again it is at least if you were to ask me to reflect and what could be the only reason what I can think of is that when I was doing my graduation in science, BSc, PCM, my sole objective was to do IIMs. So I actually never studied anything other than preparing for CAT. And when the interviews happened in CAT, anything to do with my subject, actually, I still remember one of the interviews, I think maybe it was IIM Bangalore, one of these interviews. They asked me, okay, forget about everything. Can you just tell me the 9 books of chemistry which is your subject? I couldn't tell the name of the book. So maybe, that was a good learning for me that while you can prepare for stuff, but I think, doing what you're doing at that time is important. So eventually, I did my graduation from Jaipur, MBA, and my BSc graduation. And then finally, I ended up doing one executive MBA with IIM Calcutta. But the fact that, the IIM interviews didn't work out still probably is the disappointment which I carry. I'm sure I thoroughly deserved it, but that's how it is. You don't get everything in life sometimes.
So, like BSc and then an MBA, you did like one after another, and then what did you do after that? Like, when did your working career start?
So yeah, right after MBA, so I was, in MBA. By the time I realized, that I was anyway doing quite well. So I was a gold medalist, topper in the class, and all that. So whenever the companies came in, we had a choice to pick whatever. At least in my case, at that time, FMCG was the rising sector. This is 1998. So anybody getting a job in FMCG used to be like the top job in a campus. So I joined Parle from campus, and Parle at that time, Ramesh Bhai had just sold Thumbs Up to Coca-Cola, which was a decision I'm sure he will always be regretting. At least he used to be quite sad about it earlier. And from a consumer brand, he was left with this mineral water brand called Bisleri. Once he sold Thumbs Up, his ambition was to make Bisleri.
But the biscuits were also there, no? Parle?
Yeah, Parle Biscuits was also there, which was with another brother in the Parle family.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So with Ramesh Bhai, he had multiple businesses, including I think Mango, Fruity, and all that. But his passion after Thumbs Up was to make Bisleri like a household name. That's why he went to campuses and took hired MBAs and was completely revamped the whole culture with which Bisleri was running. And in 1998, Minnewater was a very novel concept. People would go to railway stations with this bottle. They would jump off the train when train stops, fill that water in the tap which is available, come back. That was the culture, and mineral water was very elitist thing.
Yeah, luxury product basically.
Very luxury product available in 5 stars and boutique hotels and whatnot. And the task was on us to make Bisleri a household name and sell it as a concept. And probably, if I would look at my career, other than the startup which I've done now, that was something I'm the most proud of, because we created and across the India, everybody, including what I did in Rajasthan and my colleagues did elsewhere, basically created this whole concept of paying for water. And a 10 rupee bottle in 2000, 99, 2000 is a lot of money. So to pay 10 rupees, 20 rupees to drink water was just amazing hard work by all of us. And I started my career as a management trainee sales, going on autos. So the first few months was sitting in an auto, going to the shop and trying to convince them to buy within Jaipur city. The next task was going in a truck. And the idea was that you go from a truck to one city in Rajasthan to another city. So I'll maybe go from Jaipur to Delhi border, which is Shahjahanpur, or Jaipur to Bikaner, or Jaipur to Jodhpur, or sometimes even to very remote areas. I still remember my most memorable journey, which we took from Udaipur to Dungargarh, and it was the area of Limbaram. One famous archer was there because it was Bhil area.
Okay.
And they were very distrusting of people. So the thing is that if you're going on a truck or anything like that, you have to ensure that you don't see the sunset on the road. You have to be somewhere settled by the time sunset happens. So very, very memorable memories of Baswada, Dungarpur, all those areas. So we really built that whole distribution chain, took mineral water on the truck, put these mineral water cartons in front of shops, told them that, okay, I'm going to come back after 2 days. If you sell this, fantastic. If you don't, I'll pick it up. And that's how we actually started. And the whole idea is take the truck, go in any direction, don't come home till the truck is sold. So, so we really worked hard, and I'm extremely proud of that that part of the life where 7 o'clock meant 7 o'clock, and it was not privileged at all. But it give very good start to the career, discipline, hard work, and a willingness to try something new and be there, get your hands dirty. Fantastic. So that was the first brush with professional life, I would say.
Okay. So then what next? Why did you decide to make a move and where did you go?
Somebody just introduced me to 3M. And I got really fascinated by what 3M did with 70,000 products. It's like amazing company, like one of my favorite companies. So one of my favorite books was Built to Last, and 3M was one of the companies featured there. And when I got an opportunity, I just jumped on it and joined 3M. But then I had some family emergency because of which I had to be in Rajasthan. And there was no big enough role for 3M in Rajasthan. And that's when this whole ICICI thing was happening, or banking was ICICI was making banking more like FMCG, and they decided to hire sales guys only from FMCG because there was no retail talent in bank. So then I joined ICICI, started my banking career in Jodhpur, selling personal loans. I was just completely shocked at how easy the life was compared to compared to FMCG because it was just too comfortable. By banking standards, everybody coming from FMCG was working like crazy. For us, it was working almost like 75% of what we would do in an FMCG. Because there's no retailer to deal with, nothing. You make distributors, you make DST, and business would automatically happen. And business was going through the roof for any kind of lending product. Nobody had seen this kind of a boom in home loans, car loans, personal loans, credit cards. Everything was just going through the roof. So I was in Jodhpur with ICICI. Then Standard Chartered opened a branch in Jaipur. And my whole reason to leave 3M and all was to go to Jaipur. So Jaipur was just en route to Jaipur, let me put it this way. So I moved to Jaipur, and ICICI, naturally in 9 months it was difficult for them to make transition for me. Although they offered, and it was I just loved ICICI culture. Also, it was very aggressive, matching what we wanted to do. And then moved to Stanchart in Jaipur, again doing personal loans. I would say extremely cushy time from then on in banking because everybody who came to FMCG was just so much better at distribution than mostly anybody else who was there.
So your role was essentially to set up like a DSA, like direct selling agents who would source loans.
Yeah, DSA and DST. So DST is people who you control.
Okay.
And DSAs are people who are independent and who go source for you. And then eventually some referral model also came in, which are like completely gig economy workers. So there were three broad models under which you will try and do your business. So I was in, like ICICI, I was in Jodhpur for 9 months practically. And we were rocking there. Then I moved to Jaipur and Stanchart, practically hardly one year. Again, business was just going through the charts. So I got promoted to handle Rajasthan and Gujarat. So I was again in Rajasthan and Gujarat for 2 years. Again, business was off the charts. Then I got promoted to take care of East as a region. So I was in Jaipur. Then I moved to Ahmedabad from there to take care of Gujarat and Rajasthan. Hardly 6-9 months, the numbers were through the charts. So they moved me to Calcutta, take care of East as a region. Again, hardly 1 year in Calcutta. Calcutta was beating big cities like Delhi, Bombay in numbers. So naturally, I got promoted again to take care of South as a region based out of Bangalore. At that time, unsecured, when I was selling loans. So my headquarters was Bangalore. So I moved to headquarters. And that's my first brush with Bangalore. And the city, currently I'm in love with, my second favorite city after Chandigarh.
Okay.
So I moved to Bangalore, took care of the South region. And within a year's time, got promoted as a national sales head, taking care of the entire country, again, doing loans. And then 2008, 2009 happened, where all the money we gave, I don't know how much of it came back, but we did a lot of losses because of the meltdown and whole financial meltdown across the globe, especially hit unsecured lending in India. And then I decided to shift to other side of banking, where collecting money instead of giving money. I thought that is super. So I moved on to what we call in banking parlance from assets to liability side. So again, in a leadership role, so any kind of savings account, salary account, current account, those things coming into the bank was part of my portfolio. Also was a head of consumer bank strategy for a period. So it was a fantastic 10 years. Before I knew, I'd already spent 10 years in Stanchart, starting with Jaipur, then Ahmedabad, then Calcutta, then Bangalore. From Bangalore, I went to Gurgaon to Bombay. So it was an amazing journey all over the country with Standard Chartered.
Why do you think you did so well? I mean, what were the qualities or the growth hacks, or what made you successful?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned, banking was very easy for actually most of us who came from FMCG, just because of sheer hard work and the aggression we had around distribution. I would rate it to two things. Like, for most of my career in banking, at least for first 7 years, I was the first person to enter the branch every single day. And uh, we're very, very aggressive in taking targets. The idea is not to grow 10% or 20%. Ambition is big. We understood distribution. We would hire in mass. Like, at one point in time, at least motto in our team was, anybody more a motorcycle, we'll hire you. It was, I think, sheer aggression and hard work. And then once you reach headquarters, I think when I reached Bombay, which was overall headquarters for Stanchart, and you spend, I think, 1 or 2 years in headquarters, then I think you really become a banker where you talk a lot and do little. So I enjoyed that phase also. It was really comfortable 9 to 5 life. Yeah.
Okay. So then you moved to Kotak. What was the reason?
No, actually, I moved to ING. The reason was that ever since I'd been to Bangalore and from then I moved all over the place, I wanted to see if I can somehow get back to Bangalore. I just love the vibe of the city, the weather, and everything else.
Were you married by that time?
Yeah, I was married very early in my life. So,
okay.
1 year into my job, I was married. Typical Marwadi thing. The first thing you get a job, and my wife was really solid and extremely supportive in all these transfers and movements and all that. Then actually, ING Vyasha was the only major bank who was doing retail banking or aggressively doing retail banking and was headquartered in Bangalore.
Okay.
So that was one important reason, but not the main reason. The main reason was ING had this business called ING Direct, where they were very successful across the world, but especially successful in Australia, where they were the fourth largest retail bank in Australia.
Okay. ING is headquartered in Australia, is it?
They're headquartered in Netherlands.
Okay.
And they're across the world. But they're one of the most successful franchises of something called as ING Direct, which was an ING business without a single branch.
Wow.
So it was the world's first truly Niyo bank, I would say. It has become a very common word these days, but pioneer, I would say, was ING Cash.
Okay.
ING, not Cash, ING. So ING Direct as a whole theory and being like a fourth largest bank in Australia, doing mortgages by the tons without a single branch was always extremely fascinating for me. And when I came across a gentleman who had moved from Australia to India, who was an Australian, moved from Australia to India to take care of retail banking of ING Vyasha in India. And he was the person who actually created that whole ING Direct. He came from a 17 years of experience from zero to, one of the key people who took ING where it was. And I thought an opportunity to work with him in Bangalore on something like ING Direct and building India's first, or try and build at least India's first branchless brand was really too good to pass. That's how I chose ING and moved with them to Bangalore.
So in Australia, how did they build this? Because उस time पे mobile apps तो नहीं रहती होंगी ना वो.
Yeah, there was no mobile. It was completely built on phone. I mean, the normal call center. The whole thing was built on a call center. It's so amazing. You advertise on newspaper, you call a call center, you get your loan done. There's no branch. So you cannot get in touch with anybody except on phone. This continues to be an important case study.
So how did ING Direct do in India?
No, there was no ING Direct. It could never get launched in India because as the plan at that time, India KYC was not so easy. It was all face to face, no video KYC, nothing. So it was impossible to do a ING Direct kind of a model in India. We were contemplating something like that. We were building some models, and then Kotak took over ING Vyasha Bank, and it became a part of Kotak. I'm sure Kotak 811 to an extent was maybe somewhere inspired by ING Direct.
Okay. So were you there when Kotak took over?
Yeah, of course. I was there when Kotak took over. We were part of the leadership team. Met Uday multiple times. Was extremely impressed with all my interactions with him. Very, very customer focused. Amazing business acumen. Naturally, everybody knows about it, but I thought maybe let me also say that. And actually, if you were to look at me, the inspiration to do entrepreneurship, a lot of it actually came from my interactions with Uday Kotak. I was so inspired by how one man's vision can create a mammoth enterprise like Kotak, which is adding so much value to consumers' life without compromising anything.
So Uday Kotak is a first generation entrepreneur, is it?
Yeah, banking is definitely first generation.
Okay.
There was some financial business which was there earlier. But so was it with hundreds of other people. But for him to take his financial services business to build a bank of Kotak's eminence when HDFC and ICICI were at its peak, I would say, in terms of aggression, is absolutely remarkable. And it was one man's vision, I would say. Hard work, dedication, and most importantly, the focus to customer. It was like unbelievable. Kotak Insurance, I still remember when everybody in India was trying to get an insurance policy as big as possible because the margins were huge. The larger the policy, the better for any bank or anybody else. Uday Kotak, the first question he would ask if you get a very large policy, why is the customer taking this policy? I hope there's no missell. So focused on missell and being honest to the consumer, it was very, very inspiring, extremely inspiring.
What did he have before the bank? Like, was it an NBFC or what was it? Like, how did he build the bank, Kotak?
I think he had a financial services thing which was more in corporate banking, stock market.
And he applied for a license and he got the license and built a bank.
Yeah. Before license, NBFC. So this was very early. I'm talking 80s, I think. I hope I'm right. I'm not sure. And then by 90s, actually, Kotak, when it was lending a car loan, they were the experts. They were in consumer lending. They mostly used to do secured lending or lending to businesses. I mean, the concept was everybody who was underwriting Kotak was a chartered accountant. It was like a benchmark. The best underwriters in India, for example, today, I think the best underwriters in India maybe are with Bajaj, Bajaj Finance. But in 1990s, 2000 early, the best underwriters in India, at least in my personal opinion, were in Kotak.
And is there a Mahindra connect there? Why is it called Kotak Mahindra? Any connect with that Anand Mahindra?
Yeah, I think it was initially a JV with the minority stake from Mahindra. I think so. Again, I'm not sure.
So, entrepreneurship ka कीड़ा कैसे आया? मतलब, what did you think that you want to do? Like, you were inspired by Uday Kotak and you thought that...
Yeah, so Uday Kotak plus ING Direct plus Bangalore. I would say three things. Because Kotak, all leadership roles were in Bombay. As I mentioned, Kotak is a very, very fair place, fair to everybody. Very fair to customers, of course, but extremely fair to employees also. And when the merger happened with ING, I think it was a very fair dealing where everybody in ING was given enough and more opportunities, big opportunities. I think Kodak as an entity bent backwards to accommodate everybody possible. And I was also given an option to work out of Bangalore if I really like Bangalore so much. And all those things were there. But I realized that, if you were to be something really meaningful in Kotak, it has to be in Bombay. My family was nicely settled in Bangalore and I was kind of keen on being in Bangalore. And then I realized that, the world was opening up. KYC was just starting to happen through biometric, etc. And I thought, why not try and build India's ING Direct? So that was, the ambition. And that was a little fire कि कुछ करके देखते हैं with the background and with the kind of success I had in all my jobs. I knew कि नौकरी तो लगी जाएगी.
Yeah, right.
I reached out to a few of my ex-bosses and told them यार मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, but अगर ये बंद हो गया तो नौकरी दे देना बस. So and the bosses were also very encouraging and they said यार कुछ भी problem हो जाएगी. Don't bother. You can always, we'll be more than happy to have you at Stanchard or in Kotak. I was very, very fortunate to work with very remarkable bosses and colleagues.
If you like to hear stories of founders, then we have tons of great stories from entrepreneurs who have built billion-dollar businesses. Just search for the Founder Thesis podcast on any audio streaming app like Spotify, Ghana, Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to the show.
So, like when you put down your papers at Kotak, did you already have the idea clear? And, did you have like a founding team or a co-founder or things like that? Like when you resigned from Kotak?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did not have a company registered or things or a founding team or all that, because it will not be fair for me to do my work, especially the kind of ethics we have grown up with. So I was having a discussion. So I live in a community which is full of venture capital guys. So I live in a place called Palm Meadows in Bangalore. So it used to be like a hub of venture capital. You name a VC, and so there was some connection to Palm Meadows for that VC. I had a lot of my friends who I used to play badminton with, who are venture capitalists. And they said that, yeah, why are you doing a job and all that stuff? We think with anyway the kind of understanding you have of banking and your ability to work hard, why do you don't do something on your own? And I was very skeptical. I said, yeah, I don't know a bit of tech, like anything on tech. Computer kharab ho jayega. I do nothing except restarting it. I can't, I can't do anything. So I just jokingly told to one of my friends that you give me $1 million, you give me a co-founder who's a techie, and I leave the job. It's a promise. To his credit, he actually arranged both.
Wow. Which VC was this?
This is a VC called Prime Ventures.
Okay.
And Sanjay was the gentleman we were in touch with. So he said, okay, I've got a guy who's a CTO at MobiKwik, and he's also looking to do a startup. So why don't you guys do some speed dating? So my co-founder flew in from Gurgaon, and both of us met for a week. Every day we would just discuss, and we just gelled really well. It is like marriage, the startup thing. If it is working, it's working. If not working, not working. So we just got very good vibes with each other, very respecting, very different talent each other had, and we thought it can be a team, like a banker and a tech person would be a good team to go for. But being a banker also, you lead a very cushy life. And for me to leave that life, at least bare minimum, I needed funding. And there I had that 1 million commitment, which was handy. This discussion happened, and the whole thing actually got closed in less than 10 days.
Wow.
Starting the discussion to finding a co-founder to getting a commitment for $1 million. And we'll figure out कि क्या product करेंगे बाद में, but पहले ये कर लेते हैं. So then I, of course, resigned from Kotak because I was in the leadership team. There was a 6-month gestation period. My co-founder joined first and started the company, and then I joined in April 2016.
Okay. And what was the plan? Like, did you have like a clear plan that this is what you will launch? And
no, we were clear. We wanted to do something in retail banking and something for salaried customers. That was because after my loan stint, I did a lot of liabilities business, but my favorite business was always salary accounts because it was so much more profitable and very sticky. Everything is good about that business.
And easy to scale up because with one deal you get like thousands.
Yeah, you get thousands of deals. So we said, okay, salary account karte hain. We wanted to do. The idea at that point in time is कि US में 15 दिन में तनख्वाह मिलती है. In India, you get a salary in 30 days. US it is every 2 weeks. So we said, why can't we bring the US pay cycle to India? That was the whole concept with which we started the business. And then once we actually got into it, we realized the difficulties in doing it. With credit card required, and it was so complicated to achieve that we said, yaar, let us try something else, and we'll get to this when India is ready for it. So we started with a tax solution again towards salaried people. So where we said that we will give you a card, and it was India's first multi-wallet card. That every card will have wallet with, so you will not see it. For you, it's a card. But in the back end of the card, I've created various wallets. Each wallet corresponds to your tax item. So in India, taxation used to be very complicated. Even today, it is complicated, earlier even more complicated. So at food, you get 2,000 rupee off. At petrol, you get 5,000 rupee off. If you do something, you will get. So there were 22 items. Whereas a salaried employee, you could get a waiver.
So you're saying like the for like submitting those to your employer so that
Yes, yes. You get the tax rebate. So it was a super complicated thing, and neither employer knew anything, no employee knew. We created various wallets, each wallet corresponding to a tax.
and it used to be very very manual. Your bill संभाल के रखने पड़ते थे.
Yeah, very manual. And the whole concept was कि Niyo में पैसा डालो, go spend anywhere. I will automatically figure out इसमें tax बचेगा कि नहीं,
Okay.
and send the report to your employer. The things I'm very proud of always is where we've innovated. Like nobody in India sold distillery in trucks or set up depots in godforsaken places. I'm very proud of that. And the second thing I'm most proud of after that was my this card, which was multi-wallet. And so it was extremely successful from the launch itself.
What kind of numbers did you see in the first launch, like Niyo by IDFC? Like, what kind of traction did that see?
We had decided to cap the program at 5,000 and analyze. So we achieved 5,000 within a month. And then we analyzed the portfolio, how it is behaving and all that.
And that was again through digital marketing that you did the acquisition.
Yeah, 100%. It was actually India's first bank account that had a wait list.
Wow. Okay.
So we had a 100,000 people wait list in first one.
Wow.
And we gave it to only 5,000 people. So that really showed us, what we could achieve if we had like the whole canvas without any constraints.
And that product is just like a bank account of any other bank. Like you get a debit card, you can save money, you can put it into an FD or an RD, or you can do bill payment. So all of those, like say what I have on my ICICI Bank app, everything is there on.
Yes.
Like you had launched the same thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what did you learn, like, on observing the data for those 5,000 signups, and how did that influence the next product? Like, what were the learnings from that?
Two big learnings were actually, first was that we were shocked by the wait list. 100,000 people waiting, requesting you to open account is like, we never believed that because bank account is very commodity product. And second, we were shocked by the amount of money people were willing to deposit in the account of a relatively unknown brand. So I think these were two big learnings.
So this actually then gave you the confidence to do something big and ambitious and
something big, something really big. And that's when we, went ahead, Equitas launched Niyo X by Equitas on 25th of March. And today, I would say in terms of digital accounts opened every day, purely on a mobile banking app, we would be definitely among top 5 in the country.
Wow. How many accounts are opening every day? Like, what is the number?
We open 5,000 accounts every single day.
Wow. And this is like Aadhaar-based KYC, like completely digital KYC.
Yes.
How does a completely digital KYC happen? Through an OTP, like the
Okay.
And how is Niyo X different from Niyo in terms of the app, the features? Like, did you have some learnings based on which you added some features or something like that? So,
yeah, one of the key learnings for us, Akshay, was that bank account, if you combine it with a wealth account, then the stickiness of the user, balances of the user, just the whole ease of operation for a user just changes dramatically.
What is the difference in bank account and wealth account?
Wealth account is like your mutual fund account, like what Paytm Money and Grow and all you guys are doing. Yes, so we bought a company during pandemic, which was a wealth management company.
Okay, which one was it?
A company called Growwise.
Okay,
Goalwise.
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 I've invested on Goalwise. Yeah, I've used that app.
Yeah, so it was a good company, great team of founders.
Yes. Very good company. Very responsive people.
So we bought that company. The founders came on board, and we integrated the product into Niyo X. So as an integrated zero commission mutual fund account and a bank account, it is India's only offering today.
So what is the number of accounts that you have today, like on Niyo X?
We are almost touching 500,000.
And how does that compare? Like, what are similar banks who have this number, or just like to get an idea of what 500,000 means?
Yeah, if you were to look at 500,000, there's of course no startup which is even close to that. But if we were to take maybe accounts acquired by banks, then maybe after the top four, this will be the highest number of accounts opened by any bank.
Okay. In this period, like in about 2 quarters, you acquired half a million.
In about 4 months.
4 months. Wow. What do you think you will be at the end of this year? Like, how many accounts will you be?
At the current run rate, we should be at 2 million accounts. Ambition is to do some 30-40 million accounts over the next 4 to 5 years.
And where would that put you in the ranking terms? Like 30, 40 million accounts would be like
Yeah, we'll be top five, top five for sure.
like bigger than a lot of the small PSU banks.
Yes, hopefully. Yes.
And how do you earn then from this? Like, is it the same thing like the percentage of MDR? Like you again issue a physical card?
Yeah. It is largely driven by MDR and cross sell.
Okay.
So you cross sell some insurance, wealth products, lending products, and so.
Okay. But the investment per se is again zero commission. So that is you're not earning on that.
No, we don't earn there. We earn on stocks, the domestic stocks.
Okay, so people can do equity also through Niyo.
Yes, people.
Okay, so NeoX is like equity, mutual fund, like a complete, like a full stack app for money.
Yeah.
Like anything to do with money, you can do on that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, amazing. And what is your like user base like? Is it like typically millennials or what type like?
Yeah, so typically people are less than 35 years.
So these are like young salaried professionals basically who want a
majority salaried, and then there are like 60% would be salaried, 20% would be self-employed and all other categories, and another 20% would be students.
And what is your customer acquisition cost like? Like how much does it cost you for each customer that you onboard, and like when do you make up that money? Like
yeah, so let's put it this way: there's some so it's little sensitive data given that there's some other competition coming to us.
Yeah, sure.
However, if I were to look at my cost of acquisition, it will be probably 1/10 of a physical anybody having a physical branch to open the accounts.
So your background is physical distribution. I mean, that's what you have excelled at throughout your career. But now you're, you are in a different kind of a game now. So how did you personally cope with that change? From being in a comfort zone, because physical distribution, what you were doing earlier.
Yeah, it became the easiest. Digital acquisition actually is more like an accident, as I mentioned. The travel card came from my own experience. I was traveling in Switzerland, and I accidentally ended up using my Niyo card, which was a tax benefit for some spend. And I just realized nothing got charged because accidentally the bin had been set for zero forex. And then we said, boss, why don't we make this into a product? Because this is so much better than the forex card which I'm carrying. And then we said that, how will it sell? Because none of us had experience of digital marketing. And then Vineet, who's our CMO today, one of the brightest professionals I've met in my life, he just said, let's just try and put it out there. We'll try and hire some digital marketing people and see how it goes. The way it caught fire, we both of us were shocked. But they gave us a lot of confidence that we can build a full-fledged digital marketing, performance marketing business. One, create brands, because Niyo Global is the biggest brand created in travel segment on the banking, I would say, in the last 1-2 years. No one is even close to that. And we created the brand practically without spending any money. There was no ad, nothing. But with that, we got confidence that in NewX, when we launched, we knew that we know how to create brands. Why not go all out? And then spend money on IPL. We sponsored India's Test Championship in UK. Now next month you will see, again, we are doing some big bang campaigns. So now we are very comfortable this whole digital marketing, and pandemic has accelerated our thought, consumer adoption, and also government is very RBI. Everybody is very comfortable uh, um, as long as checks and balances are there to create or facilitate digital banking.
Okay. So NeoX also has the Neo Global built into it?
We did not initially. We did not have it initially. It did not have a zero forex market component. And we realized that Neo Global is such a strong brand. Everybody is buying NeoX, and because it is Neo, is assuming it is a zero forex product. And when they are spending abroad, they are saying कि boss ये तो cheating हो गई मेरे साथ वो zero forex किधर गया? So we realized कि boss, and thankfully because the travel season had not started when we launched this, we realized कि we have to live up to customers' expectation. So we changed the product. Now the product is zero forex.
Okay. So how do you remain connected with customers? You know, throughout your career, your way of remaining connected with customers was through physical interactions. Yeah. Now, how do you stay close to the voice of the customer?
So we have a very, very robust community. It is called Niyo community. It has got around 2 lakh people who typically come every month and leave their thoughts.
And on what? Like on Facebook or what?
On any all products. No, it's a community. It's a separate page in itself.
On your website?
Yeah, you can say it's on my website. But yeah, it's a typically separate link. You can access it through my website. You can just type directly Niyo community, go there. And so it's
like a forum, basically.
It's a forum, absolutely.
Okay.
While I read some Twitter comments and Facebook, and a little bit we get. So I have a daily pulse of social media which comes to me. But personally, my favorite medium of understanding what the customers are going through is Niyo community, because it is a very modern, young, vibrant society community, and they are very connected to me. They will name me and write, "Ki Vinay, your product sucks," or your product is good, or it is like almost being in present in person. So I try and make it a point that at least once a day I go to my community page. There'll be some 10, 20 messages addressed to me. Just go through them, see what people are saying, and try and improve.
Okay. I'm trying to Google Neo community, Neo bank community also.
Yeah, you just type NIYO community. You will get it.
So that's your way of staying in, like staying close to the voice of the customer, basically.
Yes.
Okay. And people come here just to give feedback, or is it like a discussion around money and finance and all of that also?
Yeah, it is. It's 2, 3 things. One is people can come here, give feedback about product. They can raise their concerns, and then we keep bouncing off our new product ideas. They can give product ideas. What do they want from us next? In this community, we realized here we'll have to make NeoX zero forex markup. It's the basic thing they need from us. We did a poll, what kind of card they like. Put our designs there for them to choose which design they want. And then put the card designs accordingly. Checking with them, do you need loans first or stocks first? Whatever they say, then accordingly, we'll prioritize that. It's very, very, I would say, useful.
So this is essentially like your like your fanboys in a way, like your power users who come here to help you make the product better. And
I would say that I hope they are my fans. I'm sure they are not, because a lot of time a product fails to live up to the high expectations. But they definitely are sounding boards. They definitely are well wishers who try and inform us what to do better. And a lot of time, they respond to queries of
other people.
somebody else. So, which is very, very good to see, and we're very thankful for everybody who uses Neo community.
So, what has been your fundraise journey? You raised that first 1 million from Prime Ventures before starting out.
Yeah, and then Social Capital and JS Soros reached out to us. We were not in the market at that point in time. So they reached out. We liked speaking to them. So we raised Series A from them, which was around $13 million.
And when was this?
And this was in December 2017. And then again, Tencent.
When you had that tax saving product, this was at that time.
Bharat product also.
Okay, Bharat product also. Okay.
And then in January of 2019, Tencent and Horizon Ventures reached out to us. Again, good people who work with, great reputation. We raised 35 million from them and other people put together. That was January of 2019. So in overall, we have raised around 50 million.
And that time was Neo Global was like the flagship there. Neo Global, Neo Bharat.
Neo Bharat was the biggest puller, but Neo Global was also doing well. It was just shaping up.
So that was the last raise in 19.
Yes.
Okay. And when do you plan to do your next raise?
But anytime now, I think we were waiting for NeoX to become successful. Because after pandemic, travel naturally was not really exciting. In blue collared, with all this migrant labor problem, etc., that business also had its share of ups and downs. We really wanted to have a product which is independent of pandemic. I would put it this way. And NeoX really lived up to the billing. So now we are in good shape. We have a lot of inbound interest. Markets are great. So anytime now, we should raise.
Are you looking at a unicorn valuation?
Yeah, I wish so. But valuation is more like beauty. It is in eyes of the beholder. So we always like to table whatever is available and let the investors decide what they think is a fair value.
What was the last valuation in 19?
Yeah, again, it is slightly confidential.
Cool. I wish you all the best in this fundraise. I hope that I'll see the unicorn news soon.
Thank you so much for your wishes.
So, I want to understand now what you are, how you are coping with the way the business is shaping up. What skill sets have you tried to acquire? What do you do on a day-to-day basis to lead the business?
I would say the biggest skill set I've acquired is in product management, where you really look at product from a perspective of, are we innovating? Are we making it better than the best in the world for the consumer? So that is the single biggest difference between, let's say, my banking career or my FMCG career, where it was all about distribution and doing business with products which were handed over to you, to here where you are building products on your own. So that journey of product management and focus on insane focus on customer experience uh, is, I think, my thing which I'm really changed as a professional compared to where I was earlier. And majority of my day is spent in interactions with teams across the company, uh, working together to make a better product. Uh, I think that would summarize it. So what I do full day is try and have a better product and a better user experience. We are really far still, I feel. We'll get there.
So what do you think are the things that you need to plug? Like, what are the gaps right now which you like? What's on your wish list?
Yeah, there's very small things what a user expects from their banks, which will work with a partner bank and make it happen. Very small things like ability to create joint account on the fly, ability to get checkbooks, ability to get account number which is same as your phone number. There's lot of other small things, innovative things. Just beauty of the app, that when you open the app, it looks very pretty.
Who's managing the alliances, with the externals, the bank partners, and all of that?
So largely it is done by me and my co-founder and our CFO, Vinay. But for NeoX, we have a business head who was my ex-colleague from Kotak days, a gentleman called Tushar. So he runs the NeoX business end. Similarly, on Neo Bharat, I have another one of my colleagues, again from Kotak days, called Darpan. He runs that business end to end.
So, are you also planning to apply for a bank license and become like a full-fledged bank in yourself?
Yes, we would like to apply for a digital bank license when available. So today you have three kind of licenses: universal, small, and payments. We hope digital bank license is available in India soon. And if it is available, we would definitely be the first ones to apply.
Right. Do you have some visibility on whether it's going to become available?
No idea. So it is with RBI. Presently, we are. It's not that we have a life is stopping because of that. We are happy with partnering with various banks. But if digital bank license would come similar to what it is in Europe, 100% we would like to participate.
So the advantage of that license is just that the percentage of revenue that comes to you is 100%. There's no sharing then. That is the basic advantage.
That is one advantage, but I would not say that's the advantage why I would do it. The reason I would do it is I can innovate faster.
Okay. Things like the bank account as the phone number,
Yeah.
joint
Yeah,
account.
everything like we can just move at a faster clip if we don't have any dependency on anybody else. So, and our ambition, Viren and me, is to leave a legacy. So it is just not about doing a business, etc. We really want to leave our legacy, our stamp on this whole digital banking thing in India. And for that, you need a kind of independence to make it happen. So, not saying that we don't have efficient partner banks, they're awesome, but maybe we can move even faster if we're the only ones taking decisions.
Sorry. And who do you see as your closest competitors? Like the companies that you track most closely in terms of what they are doing?
Kotak 811.
Which is also again like a pure digital product.
Pure digital product. And SBI YONO, I think are the two products where we would like to emulate their success.
How many accounts do these two products have? Like how big are they?
I do not have exact numbers, but Kotak 811 should be around 15 million.
And SBI?
SBI
bigger than Kotak, or
it should be bigger. I guess it is 30 to 40.
So in a couple of years, you would look at overtaking them, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. At least hope to acquire similar numbers.
So, there are like two types of founders. One is people who start up very early, like just out of college, or very young founders. And then there are founders like you who have a full career behind them. So between these two, which one do you think is like a better path to take? Or is there a benefit of one path versus the other path?
Young is one I won't say, because when I was young, startup was not so fashionable. So young has its advantage that you can fail early. You don't have so many responsibilities, kids, fees, all that to take care of. So and you have that energy which only comes with youth. When starting late, like what we have done, the advantage is that you are financially, not too worried. So your risk taking ability, if you're financially well settled, especially if your partner is working, like in my case, so you're not so afraid of failure, and you know that worst case worst, you can try and go back. It's much easier when you're young, but in at somebody like my age, if something like this doesn't work, the other option is just retire and enjoy life. Uh, you know, something like that. So there's a plus and minus, and when you start late, you have a little bit of experience, which is helpful, especially in dealing with people. Um, so I think it's both ways. So I don't know which is a good one. Um, but actually, last 5 years, I really enjoyed creating some products which success, failure, all this will happen. But I can always look back with tremendous pride in what we innovated and how many products we were like first in the market. Wallet card, prepaid with a virtual account number, international travel on a debit bin, zero forex, in one account, first Niyo Bank in India. So we really, really are very, very proud of our innovation more than anything else.
Check out the Niyo app at goneo.com. Sign up now to experience the future of banking. This episode of Founder Thesis Podcast is brought to you by Long Haul Ventures. Long Haul Ventures is the long haul partner for founders and startups that are building for the long haul. More about them is at www.longhaulventures.com.